Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All, heading into the first trial for Turnabout Big Top. December 29th, 9:43 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 5. Good morning, Max. Max? Milk? What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. Stage? Don't worry, there won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick, Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties! What? You don't think I should fly, do you? Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie! What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now. The dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that and everyone in the room will be on your side. Max, really, no one needs to fly today. Nick, what's with that look in your eyes? I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. Number 29, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom, number 2. Now the case of one... What? Your Honor, get on with it. Oh, sorry. I just realized the defendant's name is Billy Bob Jones. So... Oh, isn't the defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica? Yes, Your Honor. He does often go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we call the defendant Maximilian Galactica. Sounds more friendly. I wonder if that is to our advantage. Miss Von Karma, your opening statement if you please. I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Eh? That spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. It did not count. Do you hear me? You must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero, zilch, nada. I'm not losing this case. Why, you ask? Because it is not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose at anything. I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. But it's not like it'll bring her dad back. There. Opening statement complete. Now let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time. Very well. You may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma. Detective Dick Gumshoe. Get up there. Now. Sorry to keep you from work, as I'm sure you need every penny you can earn, Detective. Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this. Very well. I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question. At your service, sir. All right, Detective. You may proceed with your testimony. Details of the events. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold outside. All of the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. Practice session broke up around 10 p.m. Murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m. Victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. Cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. I see. He was beaten to death. Here is the autopsy report for the victim. The court accepts this into evidence. Time of death, 10:15 p.m. Blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Blunt object. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold outside. Let me ask you about the snow. It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime. Did it pile up? It wasn't such a big deal, maybe about 1.5 inches on the ground. Snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day. The snow... let me see. Gotta be more to this. What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record. Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing on the night of the crime? All of the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean? Everyone but the dancers and staff were there. Regina the animal tamer, Mo the clown, Ben the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant Maximilian Galactica, and his victim, the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot. Regent the tiger was there as well. Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey? Oh, when I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch. Detective, you are welcome to file a police report after these proceedings. Practice session took place around 10 p.m. After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to? Regina was playing with Regent, while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Ben the ventriloquist went to the front gate, absorbed in his own world. The ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately. Talk privately, huh? It's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you? Seems they were negotiating Max's salary. Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 p.m. Okay, not a problem, pal. Oh, we've got a witness that told us how the whole thing went. Ow! This is totally meaningless. Time to move on. Alright. We'll just have to revisit that testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end? The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. A wooden box? That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed. Carrying the box? Oh, carrying the box, huh? It was a rather strange wooden box, Your Honor. What do you mean? Well, it was much heavier than it looked. Not to mention, it was locked. Locked, you say? The victim was hunched over this 20-pound box. It boasts a small but strong lock. This may be my only chance, so I might as well ask some questions. This wooden box, you figure it weighs about 20 pounds, right? That's about right. The whole thing is lined with iron. Iron plating? Why do you think it's lined with iron? I figured they just did it to make the box really— Ow! I think we could all do without your guesses, Detective. Stick to what little you actually know. Sorry. Suffice to say, the box is really heavy. Much better. You may continue on, Detective. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct? You've done your homework, pal. And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak. My theory is that it is something the perpetrator went off with. You would think so, especially since you didn't find it on the scene. No, no, no. I bet he made it disappear with magic. Ho 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 ho! There wasn't much that we could get after Gumshoe with this time. Go after with Gumshoe this time. He gave us the facts, as he saw them. But there's gotta be more to this. I didn't see anything. That's why you're the lawyer and I'm the medium. A wooden box? You said the box was locked. How exactly was it locked? Well, yeah, has quite a sturdy lock on it. It took quite a bit to open the bad boy up. So, when you found the box, it was locked, correct? Yes, it was. Some of the forensics team took it back to the precinct to crack it open. I see. Continue, Detective Gumshoe. Do you mind telling us what was inside that box? Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox. So we took it back to the station to crack it open. All that was inside was this little bottle. Bottle? What is that, Detective? Yeah, exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle. What's inside the bottle? It's filled with pepper. Pepper? Why in the world was it locked in that big box? There's only one little bottle in that huge box? I wonder if that has some sort of special meaning. Found inside the wooden box, the victim was hunched over. It contains pepper. Well, I think we have a good feel for the details of the events now. I guess that's all we're going to get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean we're going to get out of him? I'm losing my mind. You mean all we're going to get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Now that we have wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to continue my next witness. Yeah, I'm not even off the stand yet. Obviously. That's due to you being slow and unable to take a hint. I don't know, but wrapped up has such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy. Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down. Miss Von Karma, call your next witness. I would like to call Mr. Benjamin Woodman to the stand. Must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist. I wonder if Trillo will show up on the stand as well. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is Trillo Quist. I'm employed as an operatic tenor. Excuse me. The witness called to the stand was one Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist. That robe must be cutting off your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. In the world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence, decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think? Not a good rhythm. Just the lyrics. They leave something to be desired, so to speak. Trillo, you know better than to insult a judge. Shut up! Just look at your nose. You would think you'd have the sense to fix it. It's so ugly, I want to punch you in the face on the off chance swelling would help. You know what, your nose is the reason why you will never be an A-list star. Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds. What's going on here? Order! Order! I demand to know who the witness is. Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trillo handle this. I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting testimony in my court. Oh! You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed. What you witnessed. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge. I mean, clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. That's when I saw Max, heading towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? When the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene? You're sure of that? Without a doubt. He had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How can you mistake someone with that crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high?
That's enough. I think we all get the picture. There's one thing. You said you ditched the clown.
That's right, dress boy.
Well, since you worked with him, couldn't that mean that the clown committed the crime?
He's got a point. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the culprit.
Why is that?
Here's absolute proof.
Still cat?
This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant.
Ah.
Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene.
Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done.
Thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say?
Okay. I guess she's the boss again today.
What you witnessed. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge. I mean, clown.
The clown? You're talking about Mo.
Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic, I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup is running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to kneeling for good.
Poor guy.
We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first-place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack.
Then what happened?
Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance.
Why the plaza's entrance?
To do some thinking, of course.
It's awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice, warm lodging house have been a better idea?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness.
But I'm a good thinker. At least my teachers always said I was.
That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime.
Are you sure it was really Max Galactica?
Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup?
Snobby three-piece getup?
Get the wax out of your ears. Lawyers nowadays, you're like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Geez, could you be any more dense? All together now. Silk hat, cloak, white rose. Thank you. Nick, I think you should put a little more effort into preparing your questions. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer?
You saw Max and only Max, right, Trillo?
That's right. That makes him the killer. There was only one person heading that way that night.
Makes quite a bit of sense. Makes Max one suspicious character. There's more to this story than meets the eye. There's something amiss in this? I can't really see anything wrong with what Trillo just said. Maybe you should take a step back and look things over again, Nick.
And the police showed up and took Magic Boy away.
Around what time did the police arrive at the scene?
I suppose that would have been around... Hey, what time was it?
I think it was around, a bit after 10:30 p.m., I think. Practice ended at 10 p.m., so you hung around the lodging house the entire time?
Damn.
I guess that sounds about right.
Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather.
Well, the truth is...
Will you shut up, you big-nosed dope? Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in that weather? Well, maybe you were waiting for someone. What? Who said we were waiting for someone? Mr. Phoenix Wright, we can all do without your offhanded theories. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm on to something. Mr. Wright. What do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night? Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. Why? You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken? Is this true?
Well, you can't really ask me that question.
Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw. Don't you forget it. Well. Puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right. Seems that at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. There are clearly no conclusive contradictions. He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now let's move along with the testimony. Triller wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Well, Max is part of that bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max conked him over the head. Nick? Wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over in the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore. Wait a second. There's no proof that the witness saw Maximilian Galactica. Hey, you still don't get it, do ya? I saw what I saw. It was Max's three-piece joke of a costume. Alright, let's say it all together now. Still cat, cloak, white roses. Thank you. I think you should study up on your celebrities, Mr. Wright. Great, I'm getting shut down by a toy. That's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? That you only saw Max? Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well? What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose this witness could have seen? That's the victim! That's correct. If Trillo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Aha! Obviously, the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness. Could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that according to the defendant? A likely story. If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime? I see. Alright. There's obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought. Ah! Makes perfect sense. What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there is a high likelihood that
He could have missed someone else other than Max heading to the... Ow! There's absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer. I guess you got me. Alright. I spilled the beans for real this time. It's true. I was waiting for Regina. Pain. Don't volunteer things.
Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance to the lodging house?
I was waiting to propose to her.
You were what? Waiting to propose?
What's the matter? You think that humans have a monopoly on marriage?
The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this court.
You're the judge. I mean, look at your horrible outfit. More pain. Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet.
About the proposal.
Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina. I even had something to give to her. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket.
You were going to propose. You? A puppet.
Don't be so obtuse. Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love.
I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I can't propose to her too.
Exactly.
His honor is looking a bit less than honorable right now.
Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your cross-examination.
Oh. What was with that sigh at the end? About the proposal.
Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina.
By proposal, you mean proposing marriage, correct? Regina?
Of course that's what I meant. What kind of stupid question is that? I wasn't going to propose that we become some sort of outlaw biker gang together. Right, Ben?
Yeah.
Got it? That's the truth. I even had something to give to her.
What was it exactly that you planned on giving her?
You know exactly what I was gonna give her, numbskull. The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty. Answer his question. What was it? You're gonna die when you hear this. It's an engagement ring.
Engagement ring? Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs.
Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here.
Francisca's whip looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever proposed to a human being. Ow!
I advise you to cut this argument short.
I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony? Specifically about the engagement ring. I'd like to stick to facts, not sociology.
You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe. I planned on giving an engagement ring to Regina.
An engagement ring?
Uh-huh. It's actually a diamond shaped stone cut from glass. Even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina's gonna love it.
It's just a ring.
What's the matter, Nick?
Well, there's gotta be something I can catch him on.
I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her.
Whose pocket was the ring in?
Mine, of course! What a stupid question! You gotta be kidding me! You think Ben could pull that off?
I'm sorry. Really?
You don't have to apologize for that. He's the one who should be apologizing.
Really?
Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her.
So you went to the lodging house to give it to her?
That's right. I tried to give it to her during practice so many times that I lost count, but that uppity snob kept getting in my way.
Uppity snob. He couldn't possibly be talking about me, Maximilian Galactica. When I get a hold of him, I'm gonna saw his wood block in half, and not with magic. Well, they always say that love creates rivalries.
But what about this present?
In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket.
So you're still thinking of trying to give it to Regina?
Of course I am. I spent 3 months' salary on this thing. I'm not gonna give it up that easily.
I wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves. How about it, Nick? I think it's about time to unwrap this toy's testimony.
That's the spirit, Nick. Give him heck.
Judge has that dazed and confused look again. Maybe he could get out more. Maybe he should get out more. Trillo, do you mind if I show you something?
What is it? What are you talking about?
Oh, looks like they're not going to double team me now. Do you recognize this ring?
Ah, that's mine. Give it back. Thief! Thief!
Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said, in the end I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. Why then do I have it right here?
Ah!
What's going on here?
That's... Ben, say something.
Don't put me on the spot like that, Trillo. I found this in Money's room.
Money's room? You mean a room where they put money? Like a bank vault?
That filthy monkey's gonna get what's coming to him.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer you avoided slandering innocent fiats in my court.
Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey, in every sense of the word.
Oh, I see. Well then.
Money likes to go after the shiniest things he can find and gather them up.
Shiny things.
Trillo, when was this ring stolen from you?
Well, I suppose it was that time, that night of the crime. What did you just say?
Details. I need more details.
Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up in the plaza.
Right about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct?
I guess you might, be able to say that. The ring might have, could have been taken around that time. Oh! Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder.
Not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trillo, back to the topic at hand.
I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Trillo Quist.
What did you do when the ring was taken, Trillo?
You know exactly what I did. I chased after that ring-snatching monkey Money.
But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you?
It's all that slow loaf's fault, called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away.
It is indeed an incredible shame.
Well, this does indeed prove one very important point.
Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be?
There is a huge contradiction in this witness's testimony.
Contradiction?
The witness just testified to the following effect.
Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the Monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza.
What is the meaning of all this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours?
I'm saying that there is no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. It is entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene.
Interesting, Mr. Wright.
Well then, tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this vigilant ventriloquist?
Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive on the scene.
However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive.
The witness is lying. He is blinded by his rivalry with Max.
Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant.
What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dork face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar.
Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw on that night.
Ha! I've told you so many times you think you know my story's not changing.
I've already changed your story, Stick Boy, and I'm sure it will change some more.
Where there's one lie, there are usually many more behind it.
Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him.
Yeah.
Witnessing Max.
I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina, but that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene. There's no way I can mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. That means that Money didn't show up until after you saw Max. That's right. Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max.
Then Money snatched the ring, and you went chasing after him?
How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting?
Well, let's see. I'd say about, I suppose, 5 minutes, I think. So the victim could have arrived on the scene in that 5-minute stretch.
Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination.
I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina.
So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night? That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up.
You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I've got 4, you know. 4. Counting Ben, of course. With how many eyes do you really think something would have slipped by me?
Rise is an awful lot of attention directed at one area, I suppose.
Yikes, the judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trillo.
But that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night.
So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night?
Of course! That's where I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time.
Guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina.
He showed up after I'd been waiting there for about 5 minutes.
About what time would you say these events took place?
You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 p.m. And you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to know what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes. I'm sure you could do that. Now, what time was it?
Indeed, what time was it?
What time was it? Let me think about that for a second. Ow, I'm not good at math. It was 10:10 p.m.
Ah, yes, sounds about right.
Sounds about right, because that was the time I saw Max in the scene. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence.
So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night.
You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning, and good afternoon in the day, right? And it's obvious that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You've got something to add? Let me guess, that's not it, Trillo. You say good evening at night.
I'm sorry, Trillo.
Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist act outside of the courtroom.
Impossible! A performer lives and breathes his performance. You should know better.
Gotta be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Isn't that a bit strange to you?
What do you mean?
Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you even bother being nice to him? Strikes me as somewhat strange.
Why would it strike you as strange?
Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your coworkers? Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a coworker, I would understand.
Oh, that hurt!
Maybe you should think of having some proof before your lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that back in grade school. There's no reason that Trillo would ever say something nice to Max. But how do I go about proving that with the evidence? Bluffing is everything in this world. But I'm sure you already learned that one. I guess I can give it a shot.
Witness will resume his testimony.
I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximilian Galactica at the scene.
You're 100% absolutely sure of what you saw.
I already told you, jeez. I am 100% absolutely sure.
There's no way that he could be more confident than that, right?
There's no way I can mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols.
Those 3 ridiculous symbols, huh?
Out of curiosity, exactly how many times have you asked that question by now? If you're gonna ask again, I'll answer with a chorus. Everyone together now.
So, Cat?
Cloak.
White roses.
Thank you very much.
Maya, you didn't have to join in, did you?
But it's fun shouting out what everyone else.
There has to be a hole in his testimony somewhere. I agree. But do we have the proof to make something stick? All we can do is try, right, Nick? We've got something that will prove useful. Alright, time to go to work. I hate to say it, but Ben's part of your little act is coming off a bit stale. I'm sure that if a pro was to review your work, he would— Ow! You're not trying to pass yourself off as a professional performer, are you? Don't get so wrapped up in yourself, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You should know— Oh, you should know better. Ow, 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 that hurts. That should have set him straight. You may proceed with your testimony, witness. Yeah. Trillo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact.
It wasn't that big a deal. It was just an argument. A disagreement at most.
A disagreement usually doesn't end with someone getting clonked over the head.
Oh!
That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he?
What? Is that an admission of assault and battery? No!
Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There's absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on the stand. There's no way a puppet this lewd would just go and say good morning to his rival. What? Are you saying this witness is lying? That he is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at this crime scene? I didn't tell a single lie. Honestly,
That's enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night?
It is my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Further, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all. Which means there is only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Maximilian Galactica. That is why Trillo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening. Or good evening, as he put it. What in the world? You!
Will the defense kindly explain who it was Trillo saw that evening, then?
Considering the ill temper of this witness, there is only one person he would greet.
It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute.
No, Your Honor, it is not Regina. If it was Regina, Trillo would have given her the engagement ring as a present.
Oh, yeah. I suppose you got a point there.
It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trillo. Isn't that correct? Well, answer the question, Mr. Quist. Why?
Order! Order! How do you respond to this?
Wait a second. Well, at first I thought I was the old man. But once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximilian Galactica.
I think it is high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximilian Galactica? Or was it the ringmaster, one Mr. Russell Berry?
The prosecution argues that it was the defendant the witness saw that night. The witness had clearly stated that he saw the defendant's three symbols.
Three symbols.
All right, this is getting old. Come on, man, you've got to remember them by now. Here we go. Everyone, all together now. Oh! Yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white roses. A silk hat and a cloak? Anyone could wear them. They'd even look good on me. What was that? Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's three symbols. However, how do we really know it was Maximilian Galactica? It would have been someone else. It could have been someone else dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. What?
Miss Von Karma, do you have clear evidence the person the witness saw was the defendant?
Well,
That's the case. It is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point.
Yes, I think we finally won a point in this one.
That is very unfortunate.
Huh?
You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, right?
What do you mean by that?
You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person in the plaza that night. I applaud you on your effort, but who that person was can only be answered by the next witness.
Huh?
Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, an answer to that question, and evidence that clearly establishes one thing. That there is no one other than Maximilian Galactica responsible for this crime.
Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess.
Gotcha.
11:54 a.m.
Sweetie, you have to believe me. I didn't go anywhere near that crime scene. So then, where were you when the murder took place? We talked about it yesterday, remember? I was in the ringmaster's room.
While you were there, it was the ringmaster who left the room, right?
Exactly. He told me to wait in the room because he would be right back. That's when the ringmaster headed to the scene of the crime, right?
That's what it seems like.
But the ringmaster must have been wearing Max's costume, right?
Oh, sweetie, I just remembered. I went straight to the ringmaster's room, still dressed in my stage clothes. But when I got there, I went ahead and took the costume off.
Which means...
Means that the ringmaster could have taken his costume and went out looking for Max. Fabulous! That's a fabulously possible possibility!
Haha. Well done, Nick.
However, sweetie, why would the ringmaster want to dress up like me? Isn't that a bit strange? If you think about it, all they found at the crime scene was my silk hat. What about my cloak? Where did that go? Double,
Wow, Max, I never thought of that. You should be a detective or something.
Well, I was never quite sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. Magician or president. You have no idea how hard it was to make a decision.
That's really cool.
Fabulous. The mystery just keeps getting deeper. 12:06. Now that everyone is back, let's get started. Court is now back in session. Miss Von Karma, please proceed with the prosecution's case.
Very well. I will now call my next witness. A pitiful clown with the unfortunate distinction of having seen the entire thing. Will Mr. Lawrence Curls please take the stand?
Why did she just call him a pitiful clown?
The witness will state his name and occupation for the court record.
In West Clonadelphia, born and raised.
Name and occupation.
Will the witness please inform the court why he is speaking autobiographical gibberish?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just not used to being in court. Never seen a courtroom in my life. Just wasn't quite sure what joke is best suited in this sort of occasion.
What in the world are you talking about? We're in the Grand Hall of Justice, not some comedy club. Since it's easy to see your occupation, please state your name for the court.
Oh yeah, maybe this joke was okay. Mom, do you have to wear pants? The sign only says no shirt, no shoes, no service. Okay, how about this?
Have you met my proctologist, Dr. Seymour Butt? How was that one? But a couple of clowns were up to no good, started making trouble in your name. Lawrence Curls, professional funny man, also known as Mo the Clown. You witnessed the scene at around 10:15 p.m. the day of the murder, correct? Yeah. Yes, it is.
Very well, Mr. Curls. Will you please testify to what you saw that evening?
A rabbi, a priest, and a Rastafarian walked into a...
Without the humor, please.
Okay. Aw, poor Mo can't be his normal stoogey self in court.
What you witnessed.
I know. Not the greatest comedian in the world.
I haven't been able to make people laugh for 10 years. No matter what I say, all I get in return is a vacant stare and a polite applause. Since no one ever laughs at my jokes, I've taken to laughing at them myself. It's a bad habit, but hey, at least I'm trying. Imagine my predicament. I'm a clown who can't make people laugh. I'm almost useless. But I keep trying. I even tried to come up with jokes just for today. This atmosphere is very nerve-wracking. Decided to try making everyone laugh. Seriously, everyone? What do you think of me? How am I doing? Aren't we the ones supposed to be asking the questions here? Witness. Huh? We will listen to your call for help after the court proceedings are over. Thus, please stick to the facts of this case. Really? You'll hear me out? Well, I'll make sure that one of my staff will be your straight man later. Thank you. Thank you. Can't wait. Poor Gumshoe.
All that settled. Shall we begin once again with the testimony?
Of course we can. Talk for as long as you want. What you witnessed? That night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room. You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped. Thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window. That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were a bit far away, though. It was the ringmaster. He was with Max, who was wearing his cloak. Kept watching them, and all of a sudden, Max clonked the ringmaster over the head.
It's very interesting. This eyewitness account is to be believed. I have enough to pass judgment right now.
Of course you can. There is no way that this account can be criticized.
However, the witness is a bit, how do you say, off-kilter. Almost like he has some sort of atmosphere of guilt surrounding him.
Ah, ha, ha, ha. Must be because of my insincere smile.
Mr. Wright, please begin the defense's cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Nick, you've got to find some kind of contradiction in his testimony. I know that.
Mr. Wright,
Your Honor.
I'm afraid that if you push this witness too far, it would bring disaster upon the court. Thus, I sincerely hope you are not going to engage in pointless saber rattling.
I understand, Your Honor. If you cause this clown to stray from the facts, I'll hold you responsible. Why am I responsible? I'm not the one with the corny jokes. Night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to the room. That's true. No idea how tired I was. Then go straight to bed. I glanced out the window. They were a bit far away. You'd say you clearly saw this, even though you were, by your own admission, far away? That's right. I've been thinking it over and over since that night. Things don't really make sense until I spoke with the prosecutor, Miss Von Karma. Now I'm 100% certain that it was Max and the ringmaster that I saw that night. Just think about it. How can I be wrong if Max is always wearing his uppity symbols? Uppity symbols? Lawyers nowadays. Do you even have to go to school anymore to be one? Alright, everyone knows what to do all together now. Say it with Uncle Mo. See what I mean? It's always like this. The crowd never wants to go along with me. Must really be utterly and completely worthless as a clown. Yowza! Enough foolishness. Get back on track.
Will the witness please testify as to what he saw, and only what he saw?
I kept watching them, and all of a sudden Max clonked the ringmaster over the head.
You say you saw the ringmaster get clonked over the head?
Yes, I did. It's the climax of my story.
He really does enjoy the completely random non sequitur. What would you say the victim was struck with?
You mean the weapon? I have no idea.
A weapon wasn't found at the murder scene, right?
That's not what I meant. You did say you did see everything, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose I did.
What? No, I didn't. I didn't see a weapon.
Mo, did you or did you not see the crime of murder committed that night?
I will not permit you to harass my witness in this manner. You'd better have an excellent reason for attacking this poor clown. Because if you don't, you know what is waiting for you. A nice penalty.
Damn, that's half my bar. Gulp. Isn't this a bit melodramatic?
It is.
I'm gonna save my game. That's quite a fucking bar.
What will it be then, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Do you have any clear basis to believe that my witness did not see the crime?
Well, see, right now I don't have a clear basis to be thinking that.
Then this is just another one of your pointless efforts to badger my witness.
Thus, you have just earned yourself a penalty.
From me!
Oh, wait a second, Miss Von Karma. This time, I do not feel the need to treat Mr. Wright so harshly.
That's right, what he said. Bailed out by the judge. What an honor indeed.
We must penalize Mr. Wright for his display. I think a verbal censure would be best.
Huh?
You know the rules, Mr. Wright. There's no room for baseless hounding in this courtroom.
Guess he didn't really bail me out after all.
You know, most testimony and what he told us yesterday are kind of different.
Yeah, I noticed. We just gotta pinpoint what's changed.
You can do it, Nick.
That night of the murder, after practice was over, I went straight back to my room. You'd say the practice wrapped up around 10 p.m., correct?
See, that's the thing.
Huh?
How exactly am I supposed to make a joke about 10 p.m.? Now, 8 o'clock, that's something a clown can riff off of.
Now, let's just pretend it was 8 o'clock. That way, I can make a great joke. Let's not make it 8 p.m. Alright, Mo?
What do you mean, let's not? Don't take the clown out of the clowning around. Come on, Nick, just listen to his joke.
There are 3 reasons why I don't want to. 1, probably won't laugh. 2, I'll get hit with the penalty. 3, I'll get whipped. Will the witness just proceed with his factual testimony?
You are so boring.
You have no idea how tired I was that night. I was pooped. You were pooped that night?
Yes, I was very, very tired. Not to mention I had some bad Mexican food.
What? The double cheese double.
Bean enchilada is a dangerous menu item. What happened after that, as they say, happens.
That one was cool, huh? I hear the kids really love toilet humor these days. That joke was so hip, I don't want to ruin it with a reply.
I've got a good reply, though. The joke was so funny, it just earned you a penalty.
Thought I'd go straight to sleep, but before I did, I glanced out the window.
You just happened to glance out the window?
You could say that. You could also say I peeked, stared, glimpsed, peeped, eyeballed.
Mr. Curls!
I guess synonyms aren't allowed either. What should I do? I wonder if I should press him further on this issue. Exactly why did you look out of your window that night?
Why? Why? Clowns don't need a reason to look out their window, do they?
That's not what I meant. I meant that, well, when we spoke yesterday. Once I had tucked myself into bed, I heard this amazing noise. Incredibly loud. Sounded like a giant thump. Oh yeah! I forgot about that! You forgot? Your Honor, the witness looked out of his window upon hearing a loud sound. He did not just simply glance out of his window that night. Oh yeah, that's right! I forgot to mention that thump, didn't I? Yeah, wow. That's not something you just forget to mention.
Yeah, what she said.
I believe it would be best if Mo were to revise his testimony.
Very well. Mr. Curls, please revise your testimony.
I should start turning the tables in our favor. I heard a huge noise outside the window, and that's what made me look outside. What was the sound like? Well, I guess it kind of sounded like, guess you could say...
Mr. Curls, the court reminds you that humor is unnecessary.
Oh, how'd you know that I was gonna make a joke? Guess that the sound sounded like, I suppose it sounded like someone getting hit with something very hard. Yep, that's what it sounded like, honestly.
Someone getting hit, huh?
What then? You went to look out the window and you saw... That's when I saw two silhouettes. They were all together. Pretty far away, though. Far away, you say? If you had to say exactly how far away were they? Let me think about that for a second. My room is right here, and looked about yay big. I'd say they were about 30 feet from my window. Just 30 feet? That's not far at all. It was snowing that night, and it cut down on visibility.
RC, please continue with the testimony regarding the two shadows that you saw.
I've got a great reason to make my claim. And I suppose you will be telling us all that great reason? Of course I will. The reason is the witness's very own testimony.
What is the meaning of that, Mr. Wright?
Mo said that he heard a sound like a thump of someone getting hit.
He did say that.
However, Mo just stated the following under oath. I kept watching him, and all of a sudden Max clonked the ringmaster over the head. Mo's to be believed when he says he looked out the window upon hearing the sound. There's no way that he could have seen Max clonk anyone. 1972, a crack clown unit.
Mr. Curls, how do you respond to Mr. Wright's assessment?
I didn't commit. These clowns promptly escaped from a maximum security clown car.
Mr. Curls, you're reciting the C-Team theme to anger this court.
Oh, no. I'm stalling for time while I jog my memory. Great job, Nick. These types of witnesses always seem to have a selective memory. You just have to peel back the layers of the clown makeup to find the truth. Well,
Back from your jog?
Well, pretty much happened the way I said. Pretty much. When I looked out my window that night, the ringmaster was already face down in the snow. The prosecution helped me fill in the gaps of my statement. On karma. Tampering with witnesses again?
Well, now you're saying that you did not see the defendant clonk the ringmaster.
Yes. When I looked out my window, the ringmaster had already checked out.
Checked out?
Yep. He was on permanent vacation, as they say.
Mr. Curls!
Your Honor.
You did not witness the actual crime. However, you still say you saw the criminal, correct?
Yes, exactly. Ringmaster was slumped over and I saw someone's silhouette next to him.
Very well. Then please testify to the silhouette you saw. I expect the truth. And if I even catch a hint of a joke from you, I will put you in a holding cell until you learn court etiquette. Got it?
Got it. Silhouette.
was a bit far away, but the shadow could only have belonged to Max. There's no doubt in it, especially since I saw his uppity symbols. His silk hat, that black cloak, they were all there. His face was silhouetted, but there was no doubt that it was him. The cloak was fluttering in the wind, so I couldn't really see what he was carrying.
Does seem as if the defendant was at the scene of the crime.
Took the clown long enough to get his facts straight. But whatever, this should finally be good enough, yes?
There's decisive testimony.
Was Max really at the scene that night?
He said he wasn't there. We have to believe in that.
Alright, Mr. Wright. Commence your cross-examination.
Silhouette. Was a bit far away, but that shadow could only have belonged to Max. Don't you think that you're going a little overboard with how explicit you're being? That shadow belonged to Max? It's an awfully firm statement, don't you think? What do you get at? I'm just saying that one of your fellow performers' life is on the line here. Are you truly 100% absolutely certain that it was Max? Not the kind of person who would lie about something as serious as this. The silhouette I saw was Max. I'm convinced of that. Doesn't seem like he's jumping to any conclusions this time. Let's go over this again then. What makes you so sure you saw Max that night? There's no doubt in it, especially since I saw his uppity symbols. Trillo said the same thing. But if it was just the symbols, then even I could have been wearing them. What if someone had just taken Max's symbols and worn them? I thought of that myself. But just looking at the shape of the face I saw, it must have been Max.
You're sure of that?
Such a silly little boy. He threw his entire case headlong into a trap.
His silk hat, that black cloak, they were all there. You're sure that is what you saw that night? Exactly what I saw is exactly what I saw. Got eyes like a hawk. Don't birds have terrible night vision? That's not all I saw. His face was silhouetted, but there was no doubt that it was him. You were able to see that kind of detail from your window?
There was a light near the scene of the crime. Anyone with decent eyesight should have been able to see that much.
Out of curiosity, Mo, what is your eyesight like?
I can see like a hawk out of my left eye, and an eagle out of my right eye.
Our record says his eyesight is a perfect 20/20.
That must mean he could have seen the crime. He could have seen the crime clearly.
The more we look into this matter, the more suspicious it becomes.
Hey, you asked me what my eyesight was like, not what it actually was. His cloak was flooded in the wind, so I couldn't really see what he was carrying. So you didn't actually see what the criminal was holding? That's correct. I've been curious to know what caused that loud noise. It must have been something incredibly hard. Bad they haven't found the murder weapon to know for sure.
They claim it was a blunt object. At least it says so in the autopsy report.
With Trillo's testimony and now Moe's, really seems like Max is the killer.
Nick, you gotta find a contradiction in this.
It's not going to be enough.
What?
I have to prove that Moe saw someone other than Max that night. That's the only thing that will help. I've got to do it. You say you saw all of Max's uppity symbols? I suppose so. The silk hat and the cloak, right? Mo. Everyone knows that Maximilian Galactica has 3 uppity symbols. 3 symbols?
Yay! Yay! Everyone get ready. All together now. Silk hat, cloak,
white roses. What the?
Who cares if he knew that there were 3 or not? He saw what he saw, and he saw the symbols. He just forgot to mention one. Isn't that right, Mo?
You like pie? I love pie. 3.14. Silence, fool! You are to respond with the whole truth, no fractions.
Order! Order!
Mo, you didn't see the roses, did you? To be honest, there weren't any roses on the person I saw. The crime scene was dark. It's obvious it was too dark to see that kind of detail. But the witness said he was able to see the silhouette of the criminal's face! Not to mention, the roses are white. There's no way he could have missed them. Then the roses must have fallen off when the defendant assaulted the victim. If that was the case, then the police would have found them near the crime scene.
Mr. Wright, are these white roses truly material to the facts of this case?
Clearly not. He's just toying with this court. I got her on the ropes now. These seemingly insignificant facts have never failed to lead me to the truth yet. Someone is toying with the court, but it's not me. Your Honor, do you recall Trillo's testimony? There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. How can you mistake someone with that crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high? How can you mistake someone wearing such a snobby 3-piece getup? Trillo saw them all. Trillo saw all 3 of Max's symbols. However, this witness claims there were no white roses on the person he saw. There's absolutely no doubt that this is a contradiction.
What am I supposed to think? One is supposed to disregard the pointless, but this...
Judge, forget the roses. Think about his other testimony. The witness has stated without a doubt that he saw Maximilian Galactica. Nothing else matters. Let's wrap this case up now. Your Honor! It may be trivial, but it does cast doubt on the prosecution's case.
Frankly, I have my doubts about this witness. Seems that, unlike wine, the witness has not grown more mature with age.
I'm not mature?
I've come to a conclusion. I'm 99% certain that this witness saw the defendant. However, a remaining 1% of doubt is quite reasonable. Which means that for my peace of mind, I'm going to request a bit more testimony.
What?
If there are any contradictions in his next statement, I'm prepared to issue a ruling. A ruling?
Nick, this is your last chance. The Silhouette Part 2. There's no doubt in my mind. There was no white roses on that night. However, all the other symbols were there. I'm equally sure of that. Especially that silk hat. There's no way I could forget seeing the decorations on it. He was wearing it the entire time that he was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene.
Mr. Wright, you've got one last chance at this.
One last chance?
I will not allow even the slightest hint of badgering against this witness. You're going to prove to me there's a contradiction with Mr. Curl's statement. You'd better have at least a shred of evidence to back up your accusations.
Only got a single shot at this. I've got to be careful. I understand, Your Honor. One chance is all I will need. No doubt in my mind, there was no white roses that night. Especially the silk hat. He was wearing it the entire time he was on the scene. This wouldn't happen to be the silk hat you saw that night, would it? Yep, that's it. That's the hat he was wearing that night. No question in your mind? Exactly how would one mistake a thing like that? I see.
Is there some sort of problem, Mr. Wright?
Miss Von Karma, where exactly was the silk hat found? Must you always ask these questions? It was found at the crime scene. The crime scene? That means... The silk hat fell off at the crime scene. However, the witness clearly testified to the contrary. The witness stated that he was wearing it the entire time that he was on the scene. No, that's not true!
Order! 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 Mr. Curls!
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the meaning of all this? You're old enough to know better than to behave like this in court.
Hey, that's just not right. That's so harsh.
Not right, here's your eyesight and your memory, amongst other things.
What? Why are you being so mean to me? What did I do? Let me guess. You just didn't like my jokes or something, right? You don't have to go and insult my eyesight or my memory. They're both great. Seriously, why? Just because you're sitting above me and no matter how old I get and I'm always be younger than you, why?
Enough of these childish outbursts, Mr. Curls. Who do you think you are?
I saw him. I swear I saw him. It was Max. Even if he didn't have his roses, he was still wearing his dumb silk hat. I'm telling the truth. He's turned into a bratty little kid. It's pitiful, isn't it? He left the scene wearing that dumb silk hat. He was there. He left the scene? What's the matter, Nick? There's something I've been mulling over for a while now. Mo, what do you want? You just said that he left the scene. Exactly how did the murderer leave the scene of the crime? What? He went... What do you mean, how'd he leave the scene? You can't ask me that. Mr. Phoenix Wright is badgering the witness, Your Honor. This witness's testimony is so full of holes, Miss Von Karma's protest is useless.
You've got a point. Let's hear what the witness has to say on this matter. Is that alright with you, little guy?
Don't talk to me like I'm a little baby. Besides, what kind of stupid question is how did he leave the crime scene? The answer's obvious. He just turned around and walked away. What I expected you'd say. You sure that's how it happened? Say what?
Huh? Not sure I know exactly where you're going with this. Lawyers nowadays sure do love to harp on the smallest things. Do you have any proof to the contrary to counter his story as to how the criminal left the scene?
Is this it? Yes. Look at this picture. The problem is the footprints in the snow.
Footprints?
In this photo, we can clearly see the footprints of the victim. However, where are the criminal's footprints? They aren't there. Ay, 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 ay. So, Mo, exactly how did the criminal escape the scene? Your Honor, this witness has already proven that his testimony is completely unreliable. I move to strike all of this witness's testimony from the court record.
I agree. This clown's testimony is as rickety as the clown car he came to court in.
Just wait just a second. You guys can't just ignore everything I've said. Fine, fine, I'll tell you the truth this time. You wait a second. I think you've said more than enough for today. That didn't hurt. I'm sick and tired of listening to you anyways. I'll give you the real deal this time, I swear. I don't know why, but I get the feeling things are gonna get worse before they get better.
Mr. Lawrence Curls.
Yes?
Testimony you've provided up until now has been false.
Hasn't been false, I haven't lied. It's just
what?
Just I was a bit confused on the bit about the criminal leaving the scene. Especially since Von Karma and her wit told me not to talk about what I really saw.
Order! Order! I will have order! Francisco Von Karma, how could you?
Your Honor, if you had heard the truth from this witness, you would have exactly the same opinion as I have.
What opinion is that?
It's not funny.
That's enough out of you. I'm going to listen to what he has to say. Now then, let's hear the truth about what you say you saw, Mr. Curls.
Ha! You're not going to believe this, but it's all true, I tell you. Try not to waste our time with your idiotic drivel. The truth. Now it's time for our next segment, Mo Knows.
Everything that I've said up until now has been the truth. When I looked out the window, the ringmaster was down and Max was standing above him. He wasn't wearing his white roses, but he was wearing the silk hat. That's when I saw he... This is the truth now. Get ready for it. He flew! He jumped up and flew through the darkness. Flew through the air. He flew right off and disappeared into the darkness. That's why there were no footprints. Fine people don't leave footprints. I told you it wasn't funny. Do you believe me now?
Well, that was, how do you put this into words?
Maximilian Galactica is a world-class magician. But to leave the scene of crime by flying, there's no way that actually happened.
You're right.
Why is she right? You believe the other witnesses? Why don't you believe me? Especially since it's the best part of the story.
To be honest, this is the first I've heard of a flying criminal. What do you think about this witness's testimony, Mr. Wright?
What he just said was so strange, I don't think he would have made it up.
Which means that he's telling the truth?
That's what I think. Nick, wait! That means that Max actually used magic.
Yikes, you're right.
Ow! Only a foolish-looking fool could be fooled by such a foolish fool's foolish dream. Don't be ridiculous. Magic does not exist.
I suppose I will let you all in on my thinking regarding this matter. The criminal disappeared into the sky. I'd love to believe that, but I just can't wrap my head around how that could actually happen.
You imbecile!
If you disregard a need for proof, Miss Von Karma's case is sound. However, I've got the feeling that this case is in dire need of more investigation. Thus, I will conclude today's proceedings at this point. It's an undisputed fact that the criminal left no footprints at the scene. Tomorrow, I want us to find out the reason behind this mystery of mysteries. I believe that's enough for today. Court is adjourned.
Number 29th, 2:33 p.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 5. Hey, sweetie, what in the world is going on? That's what I want to know. They say the criminal flew off into the air and disappeared? Max, I can't believe I'm asking this, but you didn't fly that night, did you? I know you didn't mean to ask me such a fabulously stupid question. I can fly whenever I please. It's not that easy. But it looks so effortless for you on stage. It's not that simple! I'm not actually flying on stage! I use invisible wires and have them hoist me through the air. Wow, you just told me the secret to your magic. No! I broke the first rule, the cardinal rule, the only rule! I'm sorry, Max. I made you break a magician's creed to never reveal the secrets to their tricks. Nick, what do we do now? All we can do now is hope to find the flying criminal in court tomorrow. Great idea. Let's do our best and catch this sucker. Be continued.
Alright, that wasn't bad at all.
Bam! Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. I'm very curious now as to what me and a bunch of people had a problem with Mo's testimony. Because that last bit is what I was talking about, but there were only 5 pieces of testimony, and the trick of it was very, very easy. So it's like, it's not that hard to figure out. I don't know. That was not as painful as I thought. Mo and Ben and Trillo are very annoying and obnoxious characters, though. I do not like them. But like the thought process is still sound. So yeah. Next investigation is going to be a lot more interesting though, because we get introduced to like one of the only good characters in this entire triage. Uh, so yeah, that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and stop. Thank you all for watching, especially if you got this far, and stick around because there's a lot more to come.